All right, let's talk grammar. Ever feel like you're wrestling with all these rules? Well, today we are going to totally demystify it, one of the big ones, active versus passive voice. And I'll let you in on a secret. It's actually not that complicated. It's really all about where you want to put the spotlight in your sentence. Okay, so take a look at these two sentences. On the left, we've got John cleans the room. Super simple, straight to the point. And on the right, the room is cleaned by John. Now, they're both telling us the exact same thing, but they just feel different, don't they? One's got all this energy, and the other one, well, it's a bit more passive. So, what is the deal here? How can two sentences with the same basic info give off such a different vibe? Well, it's not some kind of grammar magic, I promise. It's all about making a deliberate choice. And that choice, it's all about shifting the focus. So in this first part, let's break down these two voices and really see what makes them tick. First up, the active voice. This is probably the one you use all the time without even thinking about it. The rule here is super simple. The subject of the sentence is the one actually performing the action. So in John cleans the room, John's our subject, and he's the one doing the cleaning. See? The spotlight is pointing right at John, the doer. Now, let's just flip that around. With the passive voice, the subject just sits back and receives the action. In the room is cleaned by John, the room is now our subject. It's not doing anything, right? It's having something done to it. And just like that, our focus, our spotlight, moves from John over to the room. Okay, so now we get the what and the why. So let's get into the how. Now, it might look a little complicated at first, but there's actually a really simple, repeatable formula for changing an active sentence into a passive one. And here it is, just 3 easy steps. First, you take the object from the active sentence, in our case, the room, and you make it the brand new subject. Step 2, you pop in the right form of the verb to be. And finally, you take the main verb cleans and you change it into its past participle form, which is cleaned. So here's that whole thing laid out in one neat little formula. You've got the old object, plus a form of to be, plus the past participle. And see that little optional part at the end, the by phrase? That's where the original doer goes if you want to mention them. It's just like building with blocks, totally logical. But what about that by part? I mean, what if the person doing the action is a total mystery? Or, what if you just don't really care who it was? This is where the passive voice has a superpower. Check this out. The cake was eaten. We have no idea who ate it, right? And we definitely don't need to say by someone. So the key here is you can just drop the doer completely if they're not important. The focus stays right where it should be, on that poor, eaten cake. All right, so you've got the basic formula down, but you might be wondering, does this work with different verb tenses like past or future? And the answer is absolutely. Let's take a super quick tour and see how that one formula works pretty much everywhere. And here is the secret that makes this whole thing so easy. That main verb, the action word, it's always in its past participle form. It never changes. The only thing that changes to show us the tense is that little helping verb to be. So keep an eye on that as we go to the next slide. Okay, check out this table. For the simple present, it's his sister is helped. Simple past, his sister was helped. Present perfect, his sister has been helped. And the future, you guessed it, will be helped. You see that pattern? The word helped just stays put. It's that little to be verb that's doing all the heavy lifting to tell us when this is all happening. Okay, so we've covered what it is and how to build it. But now for what I think is the most important part. When should you actually use the passive voice? Because this isn't about passing a grammar quiz, right? This is a really powerful tool for communication. We hear all the time that active voice is better because it's clear and direct. And a lot of the time, that's true. So when would the passive voice actually be the better choice? Well, here are the top 3 situations. First, when the doer is totally unknown, like our cake thief, or when it's just really, really obvious. Second, you see it all the time in formal writing. Think news reports, scientific papers. It just gives things a more objective, serious tone. And finally, you use it when the action itself is way more important than whoever was behind it. Let's look at a classic example that pulls this all together. The documents were stolen last night. I mean, that sounds like it's straight out of a movie or a news report, doesn't it? And notice what that sentence does. It immediately puts your attention on the important stuff, the documents and the fact that they got stolen. We don't know who the thief is yet, so the passive voice lets us focus on the event itself. That right there is its real power. Okay, let's bring it all home. If there's one thing to remember from all of this, it's about mastering the art of focus.
It really just boils down to this. Active voice, you're putting the focus on the doer of the action. Passive voice, you're putting the focus on the receiver of the action. It's that simple. One isn't really better than the other. They're just different tools for different jobs.
So now you know the secret. You have the power to direct your reader's attention exactly where you want it to go. So the only question left is, which voice are you going to choose to tell your next story?